Yes, they will be, Spurs fans. Yes, they will.
Go, Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants stink.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Hope you're having a great day. Almost here to the long weekend for a lot of us. And I caught this article on Pounding the Rock, and I was like, you know what? They make a lot of good points on where the Spurs will be better. And I want to share with the audience, of course, get your feedback. As always, remember, this video is sponsored by your thumbs up. I mean, yes, it is. How the Spurs will improve this season. By the way, should we just know? Not necessarily coincidence. I paused right there. Just saying. Anywho, nearly anyone who follows basketball expects the San Antonio Spurs will be better than last year. It's hard to get worse after a 22-60 finish in 23-24. Of course, I said that the previous season, and we finished 22-60 2 years in a row. That's okay. We're going to be better. What areas of the game will they make strides in? Well, they dropped a couple right here, and let's talk about them. 3-point shooting. Whew. San Antonio was 28th, that's near dead last in the NBA in three-point shooting last season. They struggled to hit shots from deep for 2 straight seasons now. It hurt their offense efficiency and hindered their best player. It sure did, talking about Wemby, of course. They acquired some shooting this offseason. Both Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes shot over 37% from deep last season. So yes, that is going to be a boost in the starting line. Boost. Another factor is a positive regression to the mean for some players who slumped last season. Zach Collins shot 37% from 3 in 22-23. Then he hit just 32% of his deep shots last season. It should be noted, I believe right around after the All-Star break, he hit 40% or more. Smaller sample size, he was taking less shots, but he was also probably taking better shots. So I expect him to be closer to that 37 number than that 32 number. Can Keldon Johnson get close to the 40% shooting season he had in 21-22? My goodness, I hope so. Trey Jones shot 42% from deep after the All-Star break. If he can stay over 40%, that's also going to be a boost to the bench. That being said, San Antonio still has a lot of non-shooters. Jeremy Sohan and Stephon Castle need to prove they can hit shots at a semi-consistent rate. Jeremy Sohan was fine the first few months of the season, hitting over 35%. And then, as I said before, in other videos, fell off a cliff. There was like a 2-month span where he hit 15%. It was bad. It's bad. Even Wemby has strides to make as a 3-point shooter. Agreed. And they don't mention him here, but we also have to mention Blake Wesley, who's not a good 3-point shooter. Malachi Branham, who's very inconsistent. And then we have Sidy Cissoko, whose shot just looks broken. This year is a make or break for Blake and Malachi if they can't get it together. And I'm not just talking about 3-point shooting, but Malachi's defense. And just in general, this will probably be the last season we've seen him as a Spur. Sissoko is going to be sent down in the G League. He needs to fix his shot. Not ready to give up on him yet, but he is a second-round pick. And if he doesn't show any type of progression this season, I could see the Spurs moving on from him too. Okay, turnovers. Let's talk about turnovers because that's always a fun subject. Last season, the Spurs struggled mightily with turnovers, giving the ball away 15 times per game. They also set, I believe, a team record for assists, so it's not all gloom and doom. It wasn't rare for San Antonio to turn it over more than 20 times in a game. Okay, so those games are gloom and doomy a little bit. That should change with Chris Paul at the helm. Chris Paul had a 6-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio last season. Timeout. That stat's a little off. It's more like 5-to-1. He averaged 6.8 assists, 1.3 turnovers at Golden State. They're rounding way up here on Pounding the Rock. It's about 5-to-1, which still is exceptional. Not to take anything away from him. Trey Jones sliding into the backup point guard should help keep the bench unit on track when Chris Paul sits. And it should be noted, Trey's no slouch either. Last season, his assist-to-turnover ratio was about 4-to-1. So we have point guards that can handle the ball. We got that going for us, Spurs fans. One major variable is the ball security of Victor Wembanyama. Turnovers were brought up a lot last season with Wemby. Last year, the rookie turned the ball over 3.7 times a game, and that was with some minutes restrictions. So if he played normal starter minutes, he probably would have averaged 4 or more. Maybe that was him figuring out how to play at the NBA level. Maybe his height and proclivity for flair as a ball handler and passer will lead to high turnovers. Either way, reducing the number of turnovers from your primary scorer by 1 or 2 a game would help the Spurs' offense efficiency tremendously. Okay, well, maybe it was also him getting double-teamed and triple-teamed that caused some of those turnovers. Let's just throw that in there. Cutting them 2 a game ago, I think is going to be very unrealistic. No, he's going to touch the ball way too much to average about 2. I just don't see that happening. Prime David Robinson, prime Timmy Duncan were both averaging around 32 turnovers a game, and I think that's where Wemby's going to be. Not near the 4 number, But if we can get it in that kind of 2.8 to 3.2, I'm fine with that. That's just the nature of the game. When you're scoring that much, when the offense is going through that much, turnovers are going to happen, especially if he continues to get double team, triple team, quadruple team. And let's hold the whole darn team and the mascot at Wemby at one game, which would be interesting. Perimeter defense. Opponents hit 37% of their threes against San Antonio last season. Yeah. Even when they were covered and the defense was good, teams just shot well against us. Players having career games left and right the last few years against us. I don't know what it is. You play the Spurs and bring out the best in you. They often lost cutters or died on screens, leading to good looks for players on the perimeter. A lot of open looks. Chris Paul is older, but a smart defender with great hands. Castle is one of the best defensive prospects in the draft and should make an immediate impact in his minutes. Combine that with the growing defensive skills of Champagnie, Jones, Sohan, and Vassell, the Spurs should have stronger defenders around Wemby. Agreed. I think the defense should improve a little bit this year, one would hope. Wemby's only going to get better. Castle certainly should give us a boost in defense. It should, hopefully, I can't imagine our perimeter defense gets much worse. And the last one they're talking about in the article, shot quality. With better offensive players and more veterans come better shots. True. They're excited, pounding the Rockets, to see Vassell and Sohan operate off the ball with Chris Paul running the offense. CP3 or CP3, whatever number is going to be. I'm now hearing stories that maybe Keldon is giving up his number, so who the heck knows. CP, whatever he be, and the Wembanyama pick and rolls will be one of the most fun actions in the NBA this year. It's going to be Lob City. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Lob City 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever number Chris Paul is on his career. The bench should operate much more efficiently too. Jones and Champagnie are huge additions to the second unit. Don't forget they were starters most of the last half of second season. They're now going to be bench players. I think they're going to contribute quite a bit. Keldon Johnson has a lot to prove in his prime for a breakout season. I don't know about breakout season, but I would like to see him have a much better season to, not just for himself, for the team, but also to silence the critics. Whenever you hear trade rumors, the first to go is always Keldon. So if we can get more efficient on his offense, stop forcing three-pointers, get those good looks, get in the paint and score. There was times where he was scoring very efficiently in the paint 2 years ago. Maybe a little times last year, and kind of lost that a little bit. So if he can just be a more productive scorer and play somebody, then he would be great as a sixth man. Collins will have a bounce back year after struggling 23-24. We saw that at the end of the season. He's never going to be a great defender, shot blocker, rebounder, whatever. He is what he is. We have him for 2 more years at $35 million total. Hopefully he does bounce back. And the Spurs have more offensive weapons and a more balanced team that should lead to a more efficient offense this season. Agreed. I do think the Spurs are going to be much better. With all of that taken into account, Spurs fans, I still think we're going to get about 35 to 40 wins when it's all said and done. The Western Conference is just tough and brutal and loaded, and I think that's why we're going to be right around that fringe playing team, but not quite there yet. Knocking on the door, knocking on the playoff door, but not there yet. So that's my take on the Spurs. Drop a comment down below. Do you agree with some of those areas? Do you disagree? Always curious on your opinions. And for those of you that didn't see the post, the UFC WWE reactions are still going to be on the channel, but they are going to be shorts. I wanted to explain this in more detail as the community post is there. So if you're all done, you're like, all right, Spurs content's done. He's talking about the channel stuff. Feel free to check out, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. But for those of you that are interested in UFC WWE stuff, I still want to do it. I'm having a blast doing it, but editing is the biggest issue. First off, that Conor McGregor Nate Diaz fight, that the first one we uploaded for the channel, when that finally hit the channel, that was the third time, maybe the fourth, I don't remember, that it was uploaded. The first one, blocked. Second one, blocked. I think it was the third. And the third one, I finally was able to push it up by just scrunching the footage, almost just barely having any footage from the fight here and there. Same thing with the Macho Man Randy Savage reaction. First time I put it up, it was blocked. And I just don't have time to keep re-editing videos over and over and over because the focus on this channel is still the San Antonio Spurs and the New York Giants, which, by the way, going to the Giants home opener versus Vikings. Woo! So that's going to be awesome. But I don't have the time to put that much editing into reactions. I enjoy doing it, but I just don't have the time. So doing it as shorts is going to make it much easier to pass, any type of copyright issue. Might even have a copyright issue because it's going to be such a short clip. The whole point of these were to get the reactions, a few jokes, and I can do all that in 60 seconds. So I hope you enjoy the content we'll be putting up with those. I actually will be uploading one shortly. We'll probably, after we're watching this video, might already be up. It'll be the Ben Askren, Jorge Masvidal check it out if you get a chance. Let me know if that format works better. Yeah, it's still gonna be a little jumbled because it's gonna be jump clipping, if you will. But you're gonna get the main points. You're gonna get the prediction. You're gonna get the ending and the big moment of the fight. And I think that's really what you need with these old fights that maybe some of you have seen multiple times. You just kind of need to see that big moment. And I think these will work much better as shorts and much better for the channel because I won't have to sit there fighting videos getting blocked 2-3 times or whatever it is. So that's all I got. Thank you all for tuning in. And as always, go Spurs, go.
And then it makes it to Wembley.